Hello and welcome to my latest career video. This career video features a former pound for pound rated fighter and a good fighter, Jimmy Gardner. Okay, we will go through Jimmy Gardner's career. So let us begin with his main opponents. Okay, Jimmy Gardner fought Mike Twin Sullivan, okay, the former welterweight champion, on 5 occasions, scoring no wins, 3 losses and 2 draws. He also fought a trilogy against Hall of Famer Haddy Lewis, okay, scoring 2 wins and suffering 1 loss from that trilogy. Next up, Barbados Joe Walcott. Jimmy Gardner defeated him, that's a great win. And then he 5 times fought former middleweight champion Frank Klaus, who was a very strong heavy puncher who would come forward and hit you with withering body shots. Very, very strong fighter. Frank Klaus, okay, Jimmy Gardner scored 1 win, suffered 3 losses and fought 1 draw. Next up, the Giant Slayer Jack Dillon, okay, Jimmy Gardner fought him 3 times, okay, suffering defeats in all 3 fights. Good morning, Martin, good to see you, buddy. And then next up is Jack Blackburn, okay, whom Jimmy Gardner also lost to in a singular fight, as he did, okay, to the great Leo Hook. So next up, George McFadden, okay, a briefly rated pound for pounder in my all-time rankings, one of the best contenders around the lightweight division of his time, okay. Jimmy Gardner fought a draw to him, and then he fought and lost, okay, to the capable Willie Lewis. Next up is excellent middleweight contender, okay, Jimmy Clabby. Jimmy Gardner scored 1 win, 1 loss and 1 draw from a trilogy against Clabby, and he also fought a trilogy against contender Patsy Sweeney, scoring 2 wins, no losses and 1 draw. Next up is Spike Sullivan, okay, whom Jimmy Gardner fought a draw with in a singular fight. He then scored single wins, okay, over Mike Ward and George Memsick. The final name on here, another excellent contender from his time, very capable fighter, Willie Fitzgerald. Jimmy Gardner fought him twice, scoring 2 wins from 2 fights. So, mixed bag there for Jimmy Gardner, okay, mixed in very good company, and as you can see, you know, he's fought former light heavyweight champions like Jack Dillon, he's fought middleweight champions like Frank Klaus, he's fought welterweight champions like Sullivan, Lewis and Walcott, you know, he's fought lightweight contenders, the whole works, okay, so as you can tell, he fought fighters across multiple weight divisions. So, on we go to slide 2 for Jimmy Gardner, okay, he fought Martin Cannoli in a singular fight, fighting to a draw. He then went on a run of singular wins, okay, against contenders. The first was Ruth Turner. He then scored a win over Young Earn, who will be covered over next week also, and he also scored singular wins over contenders Otto Seeloff and Unk Russell. Next up is a 4-fight series with Bill McKinnon. Jimmy Gardner won 3 of those with no losses and 1 draw, and he closes out his main opponents with singular wins over 2 opponents. Very well travelled in terms of fighting lots of fighters, top rated fighters. The first is Young Lowry, who Jimmy Gardner defeated, and he also defeated Young Ahern. So, there is 43 fights highlighted there. Jimmy Gardner scored 20 wins with 14 losses and 9 draws. So, when we go on to his stat slides, Jimmy Gardner scored 39 knockouts, 19 knockouts in 3 rounds or less, and he also scored 3 KOs in the first round. Now, he scored 0 KOs against champions, 0 KOs against Hall of Famers and pound for pounders, and as a pre-rating era fighter, he of course scored 0 KOs against rated opponents. Now, in terms of rounds boxed, he still fought a lot of rounds, 909 in total. He fought 0 title fight rounds, and Jimmy Gardner fought totals of 178 rounds against champions, 119 rounds against Hall of Famers, and 254 rounds against pound for pound fighters. Now, Gardner scored no rounds against top 10 fighters, top 3 fighters or ring champions, of course, being a pre-rating era fighter. So, on we go to our next slide, the slide against champions. Jimmy Gardner had 16 fights against champions, including 4 wins, 10 loss and 3 draw. He defeated 3 individual champions. They were Haddy Lewis, Barbados Joe Walcott and Frank Klaus. He scored no knockout wins or stoppage wins over any of those champions, so champions knocked out is none. And when we go to the Hall of Fame category for Gardner, he had 14 fights against Hall of Famers with a record of 4 wins, 9 loss and 1 draw. Now, he defeated 3 Hall of Famers, and they were the same as the champions he defeated: Haddy Lewis, Barbados Joe Walcott and Frank Klaus. So thus, like with the champions, he scored 0 knockouts against Hall of Famers individually. individually. So on we go to the pound for pound slide. Now, Jimmy Gardner had a lot of fights against pound-for-pounders, 24 in total, including 5 wins, 14 loss and 5 draw. And Jimmy Gardner beat 4 individual pound-for-pound rated fighters. They were Harry Lewis, Barbados Joe Walcott, Jimmy Clabby and Frank Klaus. He did not score a stoppage win over Frank Klaus, and therefore, with the 3 champions and Hall of Famers, Harry Lewis, Barbados Joe Walcott and Frank Klaus, he scored 0 knockouts against pound-for-pound rated fighters. Jimmy Gardner was one of those fighters who you could go in a ring, you could beat with some effort, and then another day he might be pushing you all the way, even when you're a top-level Hall of Famer. You know, he was a very, very good fighter indeed, very experienced, and as you can tell, he fought across multiple weight divisions for all kind of names. You know, like I highlighted, you know, on his resume, he's got fights or wins against like heavyweight champions, middleweight champions, welterweight champions, lightweight contenders, etc., etc. He really did mix in tough company, Jimmy Gardner. So let us go on to our next slide, okay, that is rated opponent slide. And of course, after Robinson yesterday with the big numbers, we're down to pre-rating era zeros, so we had no fights against top 10 fighters. Top 3 fighters are ring champions, thus Jimmy Gardner defeated no rated fighters individually and scored knockouts over 0 rated fighters. So on we go to the title fight slide. Another empty slide for Jimmy Gardner. He had 0 world title fights, therefore title fight record of no win, no loss, no draw. He also made 0 title defences and scored 0 title fight KOs, scored no wins in the 3 rated categories in title fights, nor did he score any wins obviously against champions, Hall of Famers and pound for pounders. So, 1 slide to go, title 1 slide. So, with no title fight record, he was not awarded any belts. Okay, some people would forget that. But Jimmy Gardner, okay, captured no world titles, no lineal titles, and no undisputed titles, obviously. So, that ends the video of a career of a tough fighter who fought fighters across multiple weights. He could give even top-level fighters difficult nights. You know, yes, he lost to Dillon, but also, you know, he split a trilogy with Jimmy Clabby, who was one of the best middleweights in the world, along with Jeff Smith and Darcy at that time. You know, he also fought Frank Klaus in a fight series, lost 3 of the 5, but fought a draw in one and a win in another. Defeated Barbados Joe Walcott. So certainly a very capable fighter, just not a Hall of not an all-time great to me, I'll say. You know, he's below that level. You know, a world title would have helped his career, would have helped his standing. But, you know, like I highlighted on my recent top 1,000 boxes of all time, it's not only modern era when people like Charlo don't get given unification fights, and someone makes out when they've had 10 title fights already, they're being denied title shots when they've already had 10 title fights at that time. You know, craziness. Whereas I highlighted how dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of fighters never even got a title shot. They didn't get 10 title fights, they got none. So there's Jimmy Gardner. Okay, more videos coming over coming week, including Leo Hook, okay, Willie Fitzgerald, Maxi Rosenblum, on and on and on. Okay, so the videos will keep coming. These zeros doesn't mean he doesn't deserve a video like Robinson's yesterday. Yeah, absolutely, because at the end of the day, Jimmy Gardner may not have been a champion. He may have been pre-rating era, but at the end of the day, he was one of the best contenders of his time, capable of defeating Hall of Famers or all-time greats. So really, when you say he's capable of, you know, beating Hall of Famers and all-time greats, it shows he's a fighter on a certain level. And, you know, on my playlists, you know, the pre-rating era is always the hardest for me because I can't show the accurate information I want to show, whereas when we get to the rating era, you know, every fighter will have all the full information on the slides. It's just one of those sad facts of life. I cannot whisk up information. I could create fairly accurate records of their rated fights and stuff like that, but I don't do that, as Martin knows, following me a long time. I don't do that because I don't hypothesize and I don't speculate and I don't add my opinion. You know, the facts are what they are. So there's Jimmy Gardner's video. I'll be back soon with more videos. I'm the boxing librarian. Yeah, Martin, have a good day, buddy. Okay, you take care, mate. All the best to you, as always. I'm out for now.